District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Sheriff Todd Baxter. My name is Christopher Chichester, and I have never committed a crime. I'm demanding public information from you that you two party switching frauds are legally obligated to provide to me. These are 16 Freedom of Information Law documents, and you will refuse to comply with all 16. Now, Todd, as I demand this information, do not allow another 8 months pregnant 19-year-old woman to escape your custody. Do you understand me? Do not allow a teenager that is just old enough to vote by 1 year to escape your custody. And Sandra, do not go on one of these repulsive shows talk about the murder of Craig Rideout, because obviously you enjoy inflicting pain on the family members and friends that love Craig Rideout by talking about his murder on national television. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Todd, don't allow a pregnant inmate to escape. And Sandra, don't activate your disgusting narcissism by going on one of these shows. This is public information. We're legally obligated to comply. There's 16 Freedom of Information Law documents in there. You will refuse to comply with every single one. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. How do you discipline your public employees at the sheriff's office and the district attorney's office when they breach the civil and constitutional rights of innocent Americans like me? And you will refuse to disclose this information. It's a disciplinary process. What happens when you terminate someone from the sheriff's office to the district attorney's office? What is the disciplinary process? And I know the answer. You don't have one. There's nothing that qualifies as a disciplinary process to the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. And what's that say about you two incompetent party switching frauds? Freedom of Information Law, January 1st, 2021. The internal disciplinary records documentation for employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. That Sheriff Todd K. Baxter is reprimanded, terminated, disciplined in employment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. What's the answer to that question? Bald-headed party switching fraud, Todd Baxter. If you were asked by the Department of Justice how you discipline your public employees, what's the answer? You gonna be deer in the headlights? The internal disciplinary records of documentation for employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. The District Attorney Sandra Doorley is disciplined and reprimanded, terminated from employment at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Party switching fraud, Sandra Doorley, that loves to go on television and talk about the murder of Craig Rideout. Should a prosecutor doesn't talk in court, in Penfield Town Court before John P. Lomenzo Jr. and Paula Metzler, be disciplined, reprimanded, or terminated from employment as an innocent American is delivered to jail. How am I delivered to jail when the prosecutor doesn't talk in court? What you're also going to do, you pathetic diva, is refuse to tell me the names of these two prosecutors who didn't talk. Suspend the operations of Penfield Town Court immediately so Paula Metzler, this bald-headed wig-wearing extremist, and James P. Mully Jr., who has more hair than bald-headed wig-wearing extremist Paula Metzler, cannot abridge the civil and constitutional rights of innocent Americans. Where's the jury in Penfield Town Court? Perry Duckles, you live in Monroe County, correct? I'm guessing, because there are surrounding counties and they're beautiful counties. I don't know where you live, and that's none of my business. But if you live in Monroe County and you have friends and family members that live in Penfield, they have to go into this star chamber. So just for selfish reasons, you should care about what goes on in here, notwithstanding the fact that you work at the most important office in Monroe County. Do you care about justice? Do you care about rights? Just from a personal point of view, you may know someone has to go in there guilty. They don't even care what the facts are, what the circumstances are. This nauseating Paula Metzler and James P. Mully Jr. It does not matter. I hope what has happened to me, Perry, never happens to anybody in your life. How do you pay public employees, Todd Baxter? You're refusing to send me to payroll again. I want to take the payroll I have that Leela Roque did not take out of my residence. I want to compare the new one that you were legally obligated to send me with the one I have, and then I'm going to go to YouTube. I'm going to put the raises on YouTube. You're giving raises, right? How's that done at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? I'm working on that right now. Same thing with you, Senator Doorley. How do you decide to provide a raise? Is it a 5% raise, a 10% raise, a 15% raise? Is it an automatic raise? At some government offices, you just get that automatic raise. Even though you could be a political appointment, you'll get one just like you're a civil service employee. How's that done? I know what you're thinking right there. He needs to be arrested just for reading these 2 Freedom of Information Law documents right there about the salaries. We need to go to his house and arrest him. Here's the second one. The names and salaries of every public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. I know what you're thinking there, Madam District Attorney. That guy needs to be arrested. I need to call Sheriff Todd Baxter. We need to get somebody to his house. We need to arrest him. He's demanding public information from us. We're going to refuse. He needs to be arrested. This Christopher Chichester, we need to arrest him because he's demanding our salaries. He's demanding other information from us. That's exactly what you're thinking. There's a 40-hour week. Standard work week. And then when that 41st hour is worked, how do you pay public employees, Sandra Doorley, Todd Baxter? Sheriff Todd Baxter, I'm going to guess that this happens, that your employees will intentionally drive around for another 5 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours, 20 hours, just to earn more money, because it's greed of the heart. And since you employ fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths, and criminals, fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths, and criminals will drive around an extra 5 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours because it's greed of the heart. So, how do you pay public employees when that 41st hour is worked, Todd Baxter? How do you pay public employees when that 41st hour is worked, Sandra Doorley? Total cost of overtime, time and a half, hour paid beyond base hours, calculated to Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd K. Baxter. I know what you're thinking, Todd K. Baxter. That Chris Chichester needs to be arrested. We need to go to his house and arrest him. We need to descend on him with another disgusting concoction. That's exactly what you're thinking. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, hour paid beyond base hours, calculated to Monroe County Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley. I know what you're thinking, party switching, fraud, and diva. Sheriff Baxter's employees need to go to his house and arrest him and descend on him with another disgusting arrest. I've never committed a crime in my life, and that's totally irrelevant. It does not matter facts and circumstances that I've never committed a crime, just like in Penfield Town Court with James C. Mully Jr. and bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Messer. They do not even care why a defendant is in there. The facts, the circumstances, it does not matter. Guilty every single time, an assembly line of guilt, and that's why they're refusing to comply with this Freedom of Information Law document that I've sent them repeatedly, that they've received. And this says that they in charge of sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court for John P. Lamezzo Jr., James C. Mully Jr., and Paul Lamezzo. They're refusing to comply with that because guilty. Everybody's guilty in that Star Chamber. It should never happen in the United States of America. I have always known the difference between legal and illegal, right and wrong. Has anyone come to you, Sheriff Todd Baxter, in all likelihood a female employee, and said that she's been sexually harassed? Has anybody come to one of your top employees, your senior leadership, and told one of your top employees, your senior leadership, that she's being sexually harassed? And what have you done about it? Freedom of Information Law. Cost of taxpayers, Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, expended taxpayer dollars, set employment-related discrimination lawsuits, fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. What's the answer? If you refuse to answer, the answer is that you have used these taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits for fair to comply with the most important law, arguably, of the 20th century, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which was a monstrous struggle on Capitol Hill. Kathleen Miller, being sexually harassed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd K. Baxter. Kathleen Miller, do you know of any female employees being sexually harassed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd K. Baxter? If that's the case, what are you doing about it? Nothing? The cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley expended taxpayer dollars set employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Payroll for the District Attorney's Office. Michelle Crowley, $117,798. Are you being sexually harassed? Michelle Crowley at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley. Do you know if another female employee, Michelle Crowley, is being sexually harassed at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley? What's the answer, Michelle Crowley? The answer is yes. What are you doing about it? So, what's a surveillance device, Todd Baxter? You sick, disgusting, repulsive degenerate. You bought one from me and you put it on 2025 Penfield Road. You lied about it until I forced you to show me the images, and I'm not committing any crime. It's right down to show you up close picture, but it's the parking lot. 36,000 people in Penfield, New York can walk through without being arrested. It's the parking lot 200,000 people in Monroe County can walk through without being arrested. It's the parking lot 17.9 million people can walk through without being arrested. It's the parking lot that 280 million Americans can walk through without being arrested, except for me, I'll be arrested. How do you explain that to the Department of Justice, Todd Baxter? You concocted a crime for me and you use a civilian to block a whole tree along here who cuts the grass for these psychopaths in Raj and Layla Kumar Shah. I'm never going into Penfield Town Court. Paula Metzler, Todd Baxter, Sandra, I will never make an appearance there. Do you understand what I just said, you bald-headed, wig-wearing degenerate? Paula Metzler, I don't care what you send it to 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield. I will never go in there. That's insanity to go in there. That's an invitation. I'm giving myself an invitation to go to jail because the facts and circumstances don't matter. So I'm going to repeat that. I will never go in there. Does not matter. I do not care what you send to this residence. Email, I don't care anything at all, any documentation. I'll never go in Penfield Town Court, and fuck you, you bald-headed, wig-wearing extremist. Cost of surveillance by support of taxpayer house by Monmouth County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, fixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road, Monmouth Crystal Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. This should never happen in the United States of America. That's it right there. That's your camera right there, Todd Baxter. And then when I was calling the surveillance device, your employees like Michael Rather and Kathleen Miller and William Tadeo at $101,000. And Scott Alberti and call Lindsey Barron at the Monroe County Office of Mental Health to come to my house. You buy this camera. I call the surveillance device. And then you call Lindsey Barron at the Monroe County Office of Mental Health because you just want to be able to say you called her for humiliation purposes. A sick, disgusting, violent collection of criminals there at the sheriff's office. Sick, disgusting vials right here. The cost of taxpayers for photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter to photograph 10 public employees underwater in a pool. These are your employees right here. Why did you take this picture and did you spend taxpayer dollars? What is the purpose of this abomination here? These are your employees underwater in a pool. Why did you take this picture? Where was this picture taken? How much did it cost? You're refusing every single time, 50 plus times. What's life going to be like for you when you run for re-election? And I find out that you spend taxpayer dollars for this. And since you're refusing to acknowledge this, it's easy to reach the conclusion that you spend taxpayer dollars for this because I'm told it was a training exercise. If it's a training exercise, then you spend taxpayer dollars. And this is on the time of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. That means on this day, they're talking about what a good time they're going to have. Instead of your 10 employees investigating cases of real criminals or being out on the roads and protecting the safety of the roads and the people driving on the roads, here they are talking about how they're going to take this picture. This is time consuming. They're getting these wetsuits, to hire a photographer, to coordinate it. Where are we going to go? Where's the pool? This had to take all day to do this. I'm guessing. I could be wrong. Maybe it's a half a day. But this is time consuming. And since it's time consuming, they're not in the vehicles. They're not investigating cases. They're not doing their jobs. How do you possibly explain this to the people of Monroe County when you run for re-election? And I'm going to be relentless. I'm going to be coming to your events. And when I do come to your events, I'm going to be coming to your events with things like this picture. I hope to be 6 feet away from you and hold this up at one of your events while the media is there. Someone from the Democrat and Chronicle, one of the radio television stations here. And I'm going to hold this up in front of you and say how much I've been demanding if you paid taxpayer dollars to take this picture. These are your 10 public employees underwater in a pool. I'm going to say to you, did you spend taxpayer dollars to take this photograph? And I hope you look at me with that fucking deer in the headlights look that Paula Metzler has perfected in Penfield Town Court because this hack doesn't even know what's going on. Ryan Fisher still employed in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. I can't remember every name. Todd Baxter. He's Atlanta, Georgia, in the state of New York. Do you know that Atlanta, Georgia is not in the state of New York? Do you know that in upstate New York, Monroe County exists and Rochester's in Monroe County, and that the employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office should be in Rochester or Monroe County because it's called the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Do you understand the name of the sheriff's office? The Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Freedom of Information Law. The cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher attended the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 was canine dog Lola. Here's Ryan Fisher at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. The name of your sheriff's office, bald-headed, party-switching fraud Todd Baxter, who has a passion for jails, is called the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. And he is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia. Why? Why is he there? Was it for a conference? It enrages me when I see public employees on TV at conferences, and because all it is talk. It's ludicrous. You should be at your job, always at your job. There are any number of ways to communicate. There's a teleconference, and what people won't know about it, there's no reason to leave Rochester or Monroe County. There's no reason for any of your employees ever to be out of Rochester or Monroe County, ever. And he is your employee, Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia, with his canine dog, Lola, and that is a beautiful dog. So, where did this dog stay? I love that German Shepherd breed, so you picked the right dog, Ryan. But the dog has to be cared for. So, where was the dog housed? Did the dog stay in a hotel with you, Ryan? Did the dog fly with you? It is 1984, and that's why it's called 1984. It's 1984 that I'm asking these questions. That's why I named this 1984, because it's 1984 for you to take a picture of the employees underwater in a pool. It's 1984 for Ryan Fisher to be in Atlanta, Georgia. It's 1984 you refuse to disclose your payrolls at the sheriff office and district attorney's office. It's 1984 you won't even acknowledge that sexual harassment exists in the workplace, and if you have expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits, you are 1984 at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Did you write this tweet, Kathleen Miller? Did you write this tweet, $101,000 Wayne Pateo? Did you write this tweet, Scott Alberti? As we get ready to watch Super Bowl, we're grateful for the men and women signed to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, including MCSOs, Deputy Ryan Fisher, K9 Lola. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta. Thank you both for your service. Ryan Fisher walked up to someone in Atlanta, Georgia, which is not in Monroe County. Atlanta, Georgia is not in Rochester. And Ryan Fisher said, take my picture to this person in Atlanta, Georgia. And then he either sent it from Atlanta to Rochester or provided it to someone when he eventually flew home from Rochester, from Atlanta to Rochester. What is this guy doing here? What did he do? Was this for a conference? I'm going to have 1,000 words on this. I'm going to write to you. So I'm working to the point where I'm going to send you 500, 1,000 pages, 1,500 pages when I contact the United States Attorney for the Western District of New York and other employees at the Department of Justice about you. And I'm also going to contact the Controller of the State of New York and demand that you be audited because you're refusing to disclose if you pay taxpayer dollars for this. I'm going to have a list of over 100 examples of things that you refuse to disclose if taxpayer dollars were expended. And this is going to be one of them. I'm going to tell the Controller of New York I've been demanding for a cost of a hotel, the cost of a plane ticket, the cost of the care and feeding of his German Shepherd dog Lola that Ryan Fisher took to Atlanta, Georgia. This is why I'm going to tell the Controller to audit you. And I'm confident that the Controller of New York will definitely find unethical practices. I'm not confident that he will find illegal practices. But there is a fine line between unethical and illegal. And that's how corrupt prosecutors can abridge the civil and constitutional rights of innocent citizens. And I understand that fine line between unethical and illegal. This is definitely unethical. There's no doubt about this, what he's doing here. It is unethical to send Ryan Fisher out of Rochester, out of Monroe County to Atlanta, Georgia. That's one less employee you have here for the safety of the citizens of Monroe County. And for safety of the citizens of Monroe County, here he is again with the same dog, with the badge that you bought for the dog. Monroe County Deputy K9 ready to protect and serve at the Super Bowl. Protect and serve. All right, protect and serve. He's protecting and serving, which is your little cliche that you cops love to use. When you at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office are neither protecting or serving because you're a bunch of fanatics, degenerates, and criminals and sociopaths. Protecting and serving. He is supposed to protect and serve in Monroe County. And here he is on a junket where he's not protecting and serving in Atlanta, Georgia. This is a beautiful flag of the state of New York with the motto Excelsior. When I worked in the Capitol for the governor majority leader, I used to see this. They had a separate hallway for flags, and they would have replica flags going all the way back to 1801 for the state of New York. And I used to love to look up and look at those beautiful flags, and it just really filled me up about being a New Yorker. And if you're a New Yorker, then you love the state as much as I do, because who doesn't love New York? Ever higher on the flag here. It means the Excelsior word. Excelsior is Latin for ever higher. And are you ever higher to Monroe County Sheriff's Office? The answer is no. Are you ever higher to Monroe County District Attorney's Office? The answer is no. And you were certainly not ever higher when you're in Georgia with its nauseating redneck stars and bars. This was the flag of Georgia until only 2003, and it had to be changed. So here, Ryan Fisher, you're spending taxpayer dollars and Ryan Fisher down to Atlanta, Georgia, where until 2003, this was the flag. When I was in 101st Airborne Division in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, you veterans, if you've been in the 101st, you know that Fort Campbell is on the border between Tennessee and Kentucky. And then 41A goes right by the 101st, and that leads to Clarksville, Tennessee. So the two major towns between 101st are Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and Clarksville, Tennessee, and 41A connects both of them. And I would go in there to Clarksville. And when I would go with my fellow soldiers on 41A into Clarksville, we would see this and occasionally talk about it because it would be seen often. This is a long time ago, but still we would see it. And my roommate, his name was Anthony O'Neill, and he was from Redlands, California. I'm not telling you this from narcissism. I'm talking about this flag and where you sent Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia. So if I talk about my experience, then I'm going to talk about my experience. And I remember saying to my roommate, Anthony, from Redlands, California, what is with that stars and bars? I do not get that. Why is that flag out there? I just don't get it. He didn't get it either. And there is Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia, with his canine dog Lola, 2,000 miles away from Rochester, Monroe County, in a state that had stars and bars until 2003, only 18 years ago. Your employees are overweight, Todd Baxter. It is a disgrace. I see them constantly. And then when I was an innocent man in your jail, deposited in your jail without the prosecutor talking, Sandra Doorley, and you're refusing to tell me the name of these two prosecutors and why was I in Livingston County the second time when I live in Monroe County. Can you answer that? Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. So I have been around your employees. I've probably been around 80% of your employees. Sheriff of Monroe County, party-switching, bald-headed fraud Todd Baxter. And they're overweight. It's a total, absolute disgrace the way your employees are overweight and you're overweight. So what are the physical training standards at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? And the question answers itself. There are none. What are the physical training standards requirements at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Todd K. Baxter. You have none. Criminals can overpower the police. You have to be in shape. So, two reasons to be in shape. You want to look good in that uniform. And anybody that's serving in the military, you want to look terrific in your dress greens. You want to look terrific in your BDUs. You want to be proud of yourself in that uniform. But more important than that, because there's superficiality to that. Even though in the Army, you can't have a screwed up uniform. It's got to be pressed. But more important than that, you have to be in physical shape because criminals can possibly overpower your employees, Sheriff Todd Baxter. And if they are not in shape, they're placing their lives at risk. You obviously have employees that go to the gym and work out and are in tremendous shape, and some of them look like Superman. But that is the minority. Like I said, it's a disgrace the weight problems your employees have. And if they have those weight problems, then they're not in shape and they do not have the physical strength. And what happens if one of these monster criminals, and that's the word, monster criminals, can overpower them? They are placing their lives at risk when they're not in shape. Tell your employees to get in shape for their own safety. Day, Freedom of Information Law, the day and year Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter rehired Michael Radler after his 20-plus year career with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office ended. What do you do, Michael Radler, for $0? $0. Are you paid any sum of money from an organization connected to Todd Baxter? Connected. You know what that means? He has political ties to it and influence over it. They know him and he knows them. Why are you going into the office for $0? You refused to answer, and I know what you're thinking, that Chris China just need to go to the house, descend on him, and arrest him for asking me that question. That's what you're thinking, Michael, rather than every one of you fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. That's exactly what you're thinking for me asking this question. A $0 employee, when I contact the Patrol of New York State, is going to be 500 plus words just on you alone, Michael, rather, because I was using you since you're the contact for the public employee payroll. Over and over and over, I was sending this to you before I finally got it. I think I sent it to you 40, 50 times, and you refused it every time. I won't be surprised if I was blocked on your email. You're a public employee paid for by tax dollars. When I finally got the payroll, you were one of the first names I went to. I was looking for a Michael Rowell with $0, and that's when I found out you weren't a double dipper. Who's at your jail, Todd Baxter, public facility, the name charge is that simple, and you will refuse. The name in charge of every inmate at Monroe County Jail from January 1, 2018 to January 1, 2021. The name in charge will last 3 years. And separate the non-violent inmates from the violent inmates. I'm in there next to a guy charged with murder. I'm in there with the rapist talking about his rape. I'm in there with an arsonist talking about how he burned down a house. I'm in there with a guy talking about his domestic violence charge, about how he beat up his wife, and he's taking pleasure in telling me about the beating that he inflicted on his wife. Go to your jail, take one of your employees, two of your employees, walk in there, walk to the center of the jail, and ask your employees and tell your employees, to separate the violent inmates from the non-violent inmates. Such a joke and disgrace. The fact that I have to tell you that's an abomination. Give me a name. Sandra Doorley. It's the first of two names. The documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. Penfield Town Court was the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley. It's a female. I looked over at her, and I'm waiting for the talk because I'm at that podium in front of a 70-year-old John P. Lomenzo Jr., the pedophile protection racket, the Daniel Blouse III, the guy I have to appear in front of. Is a child rapist protection racket for Daniel Blouse III, and you should know his name because the stories in Democrat and Chronicle and other media about him. I'm looking at Lomenzo. I look to my left, and I'm thinking to myself, the minute she starts to talk and accuses me of crime, interrupt, there's not one more from her. I go in the back. There's Andrew Reale waiting for me, charging me to rascal second, sit in the back seat of the vehicle. Put your hands behind your back. How am I going to live at the jail when the prosecutor doesn't talk, Sandra Doorley? What's her name? Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester and Paula Messer in Penfield Town Court. What's the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? This 5'2" three-piece suit boy leaves his podium, walks up to bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzer, gives her a piece of paper. I don't know what's on it. That delivers me to jail in Livingston County. What am I doing in Livingston County? Bald-headed wig-wearing Paula Metzer. What am I doing in Livingston County? Sheriff Todd Baxter. What am I doing in Livingston County? District Attorney Sandra Doorley. How do you possibly explain that when I contact the United States Department of Justice when I have lived in Monroe County for 9 years? I'm a citizen of Monroe County, and here I am in Livingston County, and I believe, this is a guess, that I would be attacked if I was at your jail, because I've already been attacked at your jail. Your employees, your fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths, Todd Baxter, have had their hands on me repeatedly because they are animals. So when I was demanding this information, I have been demanding this information for 18 months. Here is Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Adam J. Bello County Executive, Todd K. Baxter, Sheriff. Pursuant to your request for information on the Freedom of Information Law, documents being requested are not part of any record that is maintained by or kept by the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Not part of any record. Your swimmers underwater in a pool, not part of any record. Ryan Fisher in Atlanta, Georgia, that's not part of any record. If you expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits, that's not part of any record. Your public employee payroll, that's not part of any record. Lie after lie after lie from you, bald-headed, party-switching fraud, Todd Baxter. And Todd, I mean really, Todd, you getting your head stuck in a door like this at 130 South Plymouth Avenue? When you open up the door, don't slam it on your head like this, okay? All right, Todd? And, Todd, I mean, really here. I mean, here you are, right here. And your head is not as shiny as it usually is here in your official portrait. So, I'm really concerned about this. Perhaps you need to take a cleaning product here and, really work that into your, your shiny bald head. Todd, and you have some bad influences. And the reason why you have bad influences there is you're abridging civil and constitutional rights of innocent Americans like me. And that's because, you just can't get past your shiny bald head here, Todd. And I'm going to show you one of your bad influences here. It's this guy here, Todd. I mean, this guy here is a bad influence on you there, 130 South Plymouth Avenue here. You need to talk to this guy, Todd. And you know what I don't get, Todd, about your employee here, your deputy sheriff. Here, he's got like this little small square mustache below his nose. And I don't get that. What's going on? Then he's got this greaseball haircut. This is like this, third grade child haircut where he parts it on the side here. I don't get it. I mean, because he looks like some elementary school kid kicked the shit out of him in about 2 minutes. So I really don't quite get it. He's got this tough guy look on his face. He's trying to be a tough guy. He really isn't. So I need to talk to this guy here, Todd, because I'm just not quite getting him. And he taught you a salute here that you use there. And I don't get why you're doing this down there in Rochester. I live in Penfield, and I come down and I see you down there all the time with this thing. I mean, I don't get that, Todd. This guy, he taught you this thing that you're doing. What is that? That's total incoherence. I mean, I don't get that. I see that on television, and your deputy here is doing this, and I'm not getting that. I'm really confused about how that works. And here you are, Sandra here with this guy. Here you are, Sandra, and he's telling you to sit down, shut up, and be quiet. And but this is where you should be here, because if you want to go on television and talk about Craig Rideout, perhaps you should be, sitting down here relaxing, with this guy telling you, Sandra, to sit down, shut up, be quiet. I almost didn't laugh. I tried not to laugh. Todd Baxter, I'm going to show you paycheck. Lee LaRoque, these are the blue gloves, Lee LaRoque. Todd Baxter, why do I have $61.39? Why do I have this check? I had $21.39 in my pocket. I leave my residence. I walk down Penfield Road to Canandaigua National Bank. Oh, Todd, let's see here. It just turned January 1st. I'm doing this at 2:37 a.m. You know what time it is, Todd? It's time for you to allow another pregnant woman to escape from Strong Memorial Hospital. Because here's a pregnant inmate escaped from Monroe County Sheriff's Deputy in Strong Memorial Hospital back in custody. 3-hour chase began when 19-year-old Rochester resident Lee Burden escaped from, quote, soft restraint, end quote, Strong Memorial Turning Ward. So, Todd, how did you allow Lee Burden to escape? See, that's why I'm demanding the internal disciplinary records with documentation for employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office that Todd Baxter was reprimanded, terminated, disciplined from employment at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So what did you do? Were they reprimanded, terminated from employment when Lee Burden escaped? Because here's your employees right here with the Lee Burden. That's her right there. That's how I decided to write that freedom reprimand. Here's your employees. It's a 19-year-old pregnant woman. How did this happen? Escaped to a parking garage. Yes, she's pregnant. She's in a hospital, strong, but still, this should never happen. What did you do with your employees? What's the name of the Monroe County Sheriff Office employee that had Leah Burden in custody and then didn't have Leah Burden in custody? I'm going to demand that name, and you will refuse, even though she escaped to a parking garage with our innocent citizens, perhaps even children. How did you allow Leah Burden to escape? Internal investigation? Was there an investigation or not? You just dismiss it and have a conversation with one of your employees. Don't let this happen again. That's what I think your internal investigation was. Your internal investigation is story is just don't let this happen again. What a joke. So, I had $21.39. I walk down Penfield Road. I withdraw $40. Come back down Penfield Road, Sanders Farm Drive to Willow Pond Way. I walk in front of Wegmans. You have 5 vehicles and 11 employees converged on me. One of them exited the vehicle, ran at me, drove his shoulder into my back, knocked me down. My head slammed against the concrete pavement because your employee attacked and assaulted me, and then he briefly sat on me. And then they're standing around me. I'm laying there on the concrete at the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans because your employee attacked and assaulted me. What's his name? You refuse to answer. You told about what happened to me. I have 11 arresting officers because of what I'm obviously doing to you on YouTube. I read the salaries of all your employees. I believe that I was attacked and assaulted because of what I'm doing to you on YouTube. And this is your payroll right here. I read the salary of everybody. And I just demanded the new payroll sent it to me. So, your employee attacked me. I hit the pavement. I had to go get an MRI and being billed by the ambulance company. And then they took me to Paula Metzler, guilty, Livingston County Jail. How do you explain, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler, what happened to me? I'm attacked and assaulted. Who called you from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? I don't know. Did Sheriff Todd Baxter call you and say, a citizen is going to be brought into you? Because if there are 11 arresting officers, if I have 11 arresting officers and you didn't know about it, Todd Baxter, what's that say about your incompetence? If I have 11 arresting officers and you do know about it, then that yet again is confirmation of your fanaticism and corruption. Paula Metzler, bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler, sitting there all by herself in Penfield Town Court, innocent, guilty, and everybody's guilty. Who called you at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and told you to be in Penfield Town Court after I was attacked and assaulted by Todd Baxter's employees? Was it Sheriff Todd Baxter or not? I don't know. But I'm asking that question. That's a question that needs to be asked. I don't know who called you. You will call, what's the name of that person? You will refuse to answer, you bald-headed, wig-wearing hag. Paula Metzler attached. When I say everybody's guilty, you're refusing. You received this on December 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. So 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. That's 5 times. 5 Freedom of Information Law documents. And you also received some on the 16th, 17th, 18th. So 8 times now I've written this. 8 times. I'm just going to read it once. 8 times you have this. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler and James P. Mully Jr., who has more hand than bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. The name, charge, and sentence of every defendant in Penfield Town Court for John P. Metzler Jr., James P. Mully Jr., and Paula Metzler. Everybody's guilty. Isn't that right, Paula Metzler, James P. Mully Jr.? How do you explain to the United States Department of Justice that everybody's guilty? How is that possibly explained? So, Todd, I mean, really, it's 2:40 a.m., and allowing another pregnant inmate to escape? How many pregnant inmates escaped in the last 2 minutes? Tell me, Todd. Was she 19 years old and 8 months down the road? What's going on, Todd? So, Paula Metzler, proof by affidavit. Send me this proof by affidavit, you bald-headed, wig-wearing hack. I will never come into Penfield Town Court. I don't care about documentation you send to my residence. I don't care about emails. I will never come into Penfield Town Court. Bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler. They'll have to drag me in there, physically attack me, and deposit me in front of you. I will never come into Penfield Town Court. Bald-headed, wig-wearing, criminal, corrupt Paula Metzler. I have never heard Miranda versus Arizona. How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and District Attorney Sandra Doorley? When I was in Penfield Town Court that first time, I was on my knees in Penfield Town Court after being charged with arrest, but second, sitting in the backseat of Andrew Reale's police vehicle, criminal contempt just for being outside my house 30 seconds to tell someone on his tractor nobody owns the land next to my house. They had their hands on me. They were pushing me down. They pushed me down to the floor. I was on my knees in court. I screamed in court. The last time I screamed, I was in elementary school on the playground in Happiness because I was in shock that I was about to be taken to jail when I had never committed a crime. Employees have had their hands on me, these animals, over and over and over. And this had witnesses. Andrew Reale was right there. And when your employee was behind me, pushing down on my shoulder, I wasn't resisting. He just decided to bring me to the ground. There's one of your employees. I'm walking over to Wegmans, driving right by me. There she is. Why are your employees at this private business owned by Danny and Colleen Wegman? This is one of the best businesses in the United States of America. You look at the lists. I guess that everybody I'm talking to, I don't know how many people watch this, goes to Wegmans. It's such an excellent store. The service, everything there is just approaches perfection. And your employees are there all the time next to the building. They're next to the building Wegmans. They drive around past Target. They're driving around in circles. There's no reason for your employees ever to be anywhere near Wegmans or Target, anywhere near that parking lot. Why are they there at Wegmans? Why are they there at Target? I just saw them 2 days ago. There was 2 vehicles, and they're out there. And this is at Target, not Wegmans. And Evan, aren't you concerned about the public relations of your employees being in those parking lots? Because it's easy for me to conclude, what are they doing here? And there are hundreds of people entering and exiting in an hour period, and they can see your employees, and they're going to think what I think. This is not some terrific insight that I have. They're going to think exactly what I think. What the hell are they doing here? And the people are going to think that the most of the employees. Why are your employees at Target and Wegmans constantly? You are such a buffoon, a stooge, and incompetent. Do you know they're there? I've said this repeatedly. That means your employees drive down Penfield Road, and instead of being on Penfield Road, where they can just have a stakeout, and our stakeouts are legitimate, because you want to get somebody that's going 10 miles over, 15 miles an hour over, 20 miles an hour. So that's a threat to the safety of the other driver. So you can just sit there with the radar gun, and that's a legitimate function of law enforcement. To sit there with the radar gun and nail somebody going 10 miles over, 50 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, that's the job. And it should be the job. And that's praiseworthy, because that's providing for the safety of the roads, and that's the job of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. So instead of being on Penfield Road with the radar gun, if in fact it's called a radar gun, I don't know what the name of the equipment is, I'm just guessing it's the radar gun. Instead of being right there and nailing a speeder, a legitimate function of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, they decide to drive over to Wegmans and Target and just sit there in the parking lot doing nothing and socializing. Disgrace, a joke, an abomination. So, Todd, it's 2:46 a.m. on January 1st. Is it time for a Lee Burton to escape again or another inmate? Is it? Who's escaping now? I mean, did Lee Burton, she have twins? Did she have 3 people escape? So, Todd, the fascist stooge, what I just read to you on January 1st received on everything I read. Sandra, Doorley, Todd, Baxter, party switching forwards received on December 30th, December 28th, December 26th, December 21st, December 19th, December 17th, December 6th, December 4th, December 2nd, November 30th, November 28th, November 21st, November 23rd, November 25th, November 19th, November 17th, November 15th. So, every Freedom of Information law I just read on this January 1st, 2021, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 times. Refused every time. 17 times. I'm glad you refused. I hope you continue to refuse. All you have to do is comply with everything. And I won't be on YouTube doing this. There's something else I can do. There's multiple things I can do. All you have to do is comply. Perry Duckles, how do you have any pride in working at such a Jonestown joke when you're supposed to be upholding the law and you can't even comply with the law yourself? Attempted assault, petty larceny, trespassing. I leave my residence. I walk across the street. I'm about to walk across the street. 2 employees walked onto the private property of my neighbor. How do they have standing to concoct attempted assault for me on my back porch when they're on the private property of my neighbor? If they're committing a crime, waiting for me, how is that standing in order to concoct the crime for me? I turn around, I don't know who this is. I run back alongside my residence, up the back porch. He grabs my arm. The hammer I just grabbed alongside of the residence goes up and run back in my house. How is that a felony? I don't even know what this is, petty larceny. Oh, I'm taking a sign that's on my front lawn. Somebody you think is mean, you're wrong about that. And trespassing, that's what I don't know. I don't know how I'm trespassing. Lie from a liar sheriff and his corrupt, repulsive, disgusting hacks. So, Todd, it's 2:49 a.m. Did Lee Burton escape again? Just let another 8 months pregnant, a 19-year-old to escape again. So, this John P. Lomenzo Jr., he refused to open his mouth. 4 Forest Grove Court, Penfield, New York. Ellie Roth, this is the guy that says to me, you're going to be arrested. I'm walking through the park lot. He refused to open his mouth. You're telling a civilian, this is where the cameras that I showed. He refused to open his mouth because I'm demanding from him. Who told you I was going to be arrested, Elliot? You copied on this. Where's your morality? Where's your decency, Elliot? If you asked me the same question, I would give you the answer. Someone at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Elliot Roth, told you that I was to be arrested because you said to me you're going to be arrested. I don't know what you're talking about because I've never committed a crime. I'm just walking through the parking lot just from my neighbors with a 4,000 on. That's because you know that camera's installed. He refused to open his mouth. Steve Desmond, this is the guy that you used. This guy here works for Broccolo Tree in Long Care. He doesn't want to open his mouth. It's you used a civilian to get to my residence. After this, Elliot Ross said to me, you're going to be arrested. Your employee, Shannon Meyer, met with this guy, Steve Desmond, and the guy in his tractor from Broccolo Tree in Long Care to get me to come out of the house. All I did is walk outside, say nobody owns that land, and back to my residence. There I am standing there on my front lawn in handcuffs. Here's Elliot Roth again. Doesn't want to open up his mouth. Here's the Nayrod shot, this parasite here you've unleashed upon me. You continue to concoct crimes for me because I sent an email on an email link to him. He refused to open his mouth. I'm demanding from him. Prove you own that land. He refused to open his mouth. I'm not just putting this in the mail like that one. That I just put in the mail. That's not registered mail return receipt. That's for Layla Kumar Shah's mommy. You're unleashing this 50-year-old man who lives over there with his mommy on you. So I have more documents that they refused to sign for. So what you've done to me, Todd Baxter, should never happen to an innocent American ever in the United States of America. You are a disgusting, vile, sick hack, a nauseating, pathetic fucking disgrace. And you deserve to be removed from office by either state legislature or Congress. I don't know how that can work, but I'm going to do my best to see that you're removed from office, Todd Baxter. And these salaries here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 here, $12,000 or less. And do you employ minors? Man, I need to know if you employ minors, especially Camille Miller. Camille Miller. Does that name sound familiar, Kathleen Miller? Is Camille Miller your daughter? Is your daughter Camille Miller? If Camille Miller is employed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Camille Miller is your daughter, Kathleen Miller, then that's nepotism. The only reason Camille Miller is on that payroll is she's related to you. I do not know if she's your daughter. I do not know her status as an employee. But what I do know is that's not a full-time employee. So, and what you're thinking, Camille Miller, is what everybody else is thinking there. What Michael Rather's thinking, what $101,000 William Tadeo was thinking, what Scott O'Brien was thinking, is that guy needs to be arrested. We need to go to his house, descend on him, and arrest him for this 47-minute YouTube, which is that now. There's 47 minutes of him being on here. At this point, he needs to be arrested. What time are you going to be here? Todd, it's 2:52 a.m. on January 1st. Did another 8 months pregnant, 19-year-old escape from your custody? Because, let me know, how that's going. And, Todd, I hear your employees here at the gym and MCC. What are they doing at MCC? I've showed this repeatedly. This is what a joke you are, what an abomination you are. I run this 5K. I finished. I go to the gym, and there they are socializing. So I'm at my house. I adopted my little guy from Lollipop Farm Humane Society. All I'm doing is walking my dog the same way, 7 years, 4,000 times. Here he is. His name is Boom Boom, named after former WBA lightweight champion Ray Mancini. Love in his heart, unlike my other two dogs. And here you are at my residence demanding him after Layla Kumar and Nayrod shot these parasites calling. All I'm doing is walking my dog the same way for 7 years and 4,000 times, and you're banging on my door, pounding on my door. Your two employees, animal control's there with a pole in his hand. It has a noose on top of it. Where is the noose going to go? Is the noose going to go around his neck? I slammed the door in his face. As I said this in a previous YouTube, I picked him up. I put him on my shoulder. He was shaking. I say, nobody's ever going to take you from me. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be fine. It should never happen to an innocent American. It should never happen to a dog owner. A cop should never descend on an innocent American who's just walking his dog the same way. Why are you here? Why can't you just call me? Why didn't you just pick up the phone and call me? We heard you were walking your dog somewhere. We got a complaint from Nayrod and Layla Kumar Shah. Why didn't you just pick up? That's because you're employees, and this is why I call them fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths. You're at my residence, pounding on my door, ringing my doorbell with animal control, with that 10-foot pole with the noose on it, because your employees want to be able to acquire my dog and say, we went to this guy's house and exercised power and forcibly took his dog from him. That's why your employees are here demanding my dog. And this is one of the 100 plus reasons that I describe your office as a collection of fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths, bald-headed, party-switching fraud, Sheriff Todd Baxter, Monroe County. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime.